Starting now.
So we were talking, so again, why don't we consider kind of, so we have sort of two goals. One is about controlling anger, and then one is coming up with some coping skills around some racial slurs that might happen in your lifetime. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think coping skills is definitely a good idea for me.
Okay. And then is there anything else you want to work on?
I don't know.
I think that's a really good start. 2 goals, that's a lot. I mean, you've had anger issues pretty much your whole life, so to just, that's a big rock, but let's try to take it in steps. And then we can sort of work on the coping skills thing. So does your job know that you're here working on anger management?
I did. I gave them notification just so that they could see that I've had these couple of strikes at work and I'm working to rectify the problem so that it doesn't impact my life anymore.
Okay, and how did they react to that?
My boss was actually pretty happy about it.
Okay.
He told me I'm a great employee and he would hate to have to get rid of me over something.
That's great. So
that.
again, you give yourself some credit. That's wonderful that you're being proactive. So on the one hand, you were court ordered to do some things, but you're also realizing that by getting some better skills that might help at work too. So that's great that you took the step to tell people at work. So I really want to congratulate you on being mature enough to do that. So what I thought we'd start with is so can you think of the last time that you were angry?
I think the last time I was angry was right before I got here, I think.
Okay.
I didn't initially want to come here, but I don't know. My brother kind of talked to me about it.
So when you were angry, so if you can pretend there's almost like a video camera in the room, what were you doing with your body, or what was happening that right before you yelled or whatever? Can you kind of
Before I got here?
Before you said you got angry right before you got here.
Yeah.
So who were you angry at?
I was angry at my ex-boyfriend. I was angry at the court system. I was angry at myself.
And what did you do?
I refused to get in the car.
Okay.
I kicked the tire a couple times.
Okay. And who drove you here?
My brother.
Okay. So did you yell at your brother, or?
I did.
Okay.
He kept telling me to calm down, and I hate it when people tell me to calm down.
So you hate. Okay. So
I kind of yelled at him for that and told him to stop telling me to calm down, and I can't calm down.
Okay.
That this isn't fair.
And then how did you finally end up getting in the car and coming here?
I think he gave me a cigarette.
Okay. So smoking a cigarette helped you calm down?
Yeah.
Okay.
We smoked, and then he told me that I've wasted 6, almost 7 years of my life on somebody else. Don't let him be the reason I waste any more time. So he kind of told me I'm going to therapy whether I want to or not.
Okay.
And I can at least get something out of it.
And it sounds like your brother really cares about you. Would that be a fair to say?
I like to think my family's pretty close. So.
Okay. So that's really great. Not everybody has, a support network. So it's great. So you have some family that cares. You've got a job that you care about. So I think we're really off to there's really some things that can really help you. And it sounds like you want to change, and that's, as corny as it says, part of half the battle.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about that. So you got angry right before you came here. What were you doing? Where did you did you get sweaty? Did you?
Yeah, I could feel myself getting really, really hot.
Okay. So what does really hot look like?
I can physically feel my body temperature rising. My face does turn a little bit red.
Okay. So your face turns red. You can feel. Okay. So you.
Yeah.
So
I'm just pulling my hair. I do that.
Okay.
Sometimes
So and you start to pull your hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's frustration. It's
Okay.
out of my control, and I don't like feeling like I don't have control.
Okay.
So I pulled my hair. I kicked his tire a couple times.
Okay. So you can tell your body is helping you tell yourself that you're going to get angry.
It's not like I don't know that I'm getting to that point. It's just a matter of I don't know how
Okay.
to stop myself once I'm already there.
So what I'd like to suggest is a good place to start is with some breathing exercises. Would you be open to that?
I guess. Can
Okay.
try.
So
Guess
I
it's
think just a
smoking
really simple thing. So I'm going to give you a worksheet that you can take home that talks about a variety of different breathing exercises, but we're going to just start with what I consider the most simple deep breathing exercise. And then you might just look, there's a couple of other ones here that's something you can practice different ones and see if any of them are helpful. Would that make sense?
Yeah, I think that would make
Okay,
sense.
so I'm going to give you this paper for you, and we're going to start, and let's talk about deep breathing. Have you ever been involved with that?
Only if smoking counts.
Okay, well, not really, but I think in some ways the inhaling and exhaling of a cigarette is really similar to deep breathing. So what deep breathing involves is just a way to calm yourself and your body down. And we're going to just start with, it's as simple as just inhaling through your nose. Do you think you can do that? Just and inhale through your nose.
And then like out through my mouth.
And then you're going to actually go out through your mouth. So you're going to inhale and actually hold it for 5 seconds if you can, and then exhale for 5 seconds. So some people say when you exhale, you think about blowing through a straw.
Mm-hmm.
And in your case, it might be just thinking about exhaling like as if you were just really, trying to exhale that cigarette just really, slowly. So if you think about blowing through a straw, or if that's more calming to you, exhaling through a cigarette. So you want to just go, so do you want to try to practice with me for a minute? So
Yeah.
we're going to go, and then sometimes you can even feel it in your diaphragm if you want, like which is the bottom part of your stomach, and then you're going to breathe out through your mouth. So you're going to breathe in through your nose, and I'm going to count for you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you see how hard that is?
Yeah.
5 seconds. That's the hardest thing about it. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute and try it a few times.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of hard to.
So
Give
it
the
is. It's
seconds,
something.
right?
It's just like. So can you think of something that you might have learned at work? What's the last thing that you were, like a new skill that you were learning at work?
I was learning how to use our new EKG machines.
Okay. And how did you learn to do that?
I tried it a lot.
Okay.
Until I got it right.
And about how long did it take before you felt like you could do it well?
A couple of days, I think.
Okay.
It was really, until I got comfortable with doing it on my own.
And that's a pretty complicated thing. So again, great that you could learn something like that in just a few days. So this is going to take a while. It's a skill that I want you to. Could you commit to practicing?
Mm-hmm. I think I
So,
can.
just like today on your way here, when you felt yourself getting angry, and again, you've got a lot going on. You've got some pressure at work. You've got pressure, with this court order. You broke up with your boyfriend. That is a lot. And so, that stress, instead of it, showing in relieving that stress through anger, we're gonna come up with some other ways to kind of cope with those stressors in life. So one of the very simplest ways is just to breathe. So the next time you feel yourself getting angry, I want you to try breathing.
Okay.
So
I'll try that.
there's lots of videos on YouTube that if you wanted to explore, there's some great ones that, we'll even do that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for you that I found. So if you just Google, or just YouTube deep breathing exercises, there's videos on all those different types. But to me, the simplest one to start with is just that
Deep
inhale and exhale.
Okay.
And then next week we can add a mindfulness component about it where we're really just focusing on the breathing. But I just want you to get to, if you can figure out when, if you can feel that hotness that you talked about and that where your face is getting hot,
Mhm.
that if you can try to remember to breathe and see if that helps. And then the second thing I want to do is put together an anger log. Have you ever done anything like that?
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a piece of paper, and I want you, before we meet next week, each time that you get angry, it's gonna, you're gonna write down, what the event was and what happened, what the trigger was, like what made you angry, and then what you did about it. And then that'll give us a good place to start on those goals, on how do we cope with those. So those are some of the things that we'll look to in the future. What are the triggers? And are there triggers that we can remove from our situation? Or are there ways, to handle those triggers? And then we'll look at some other coping skills and some other ways. So deep breathing is just one of many tools that we'll give you as ways to control your anger. Does that sound like something you'd want to work on?
Yeah, I think I'd definitely could try.
Okay, so I have a schedule to meet next week the same time, and is this Tuesday at 6 o'clock still working for you?
Yeah, I think we should stick with the Tuesday at 6. It works really well with my schedule.
Okay, and your
I'd rather
brother's still
change
able
it.
to give you a ride?
Yeah.
Okay, and how many court-ordered visits do you have? Do you know what?
I have it written on a paper somewhere.
Okay.
At home, I can double check.
And so I wanted to ask you a little bit, are you feeling better about things now that we've gone through a couple sessions?
Yeah, I think it's lowered some of my anxiety surrounding
Okay.
coming here and like
And
giving
again,
me a little bit of hope about getting something out of it instead of just feeling like I'm wasting my time.
Okay, and I know, and I appreciate the fact that you're being forced to do something, and you could do it in a way to just check off the boxes, or it sounds like you're really wanting to work on this problem.
Yeah, it's my way of taking back control, I guess.
Okay, and I think that's great.
Yeah.
So I do want to end things on, and I always like to try to end each session with, if you can tell me, we've talked about a lot of deep stuff, but if something maybe that happened today that brought you joy, or that, was there anything today that, just anything that brought you joy?
I guess breakfast with my brother brought me joy today.
All right, well, that's great. So I want you to kind of, focus on those things too. I know we're working on anger, but we can also turn around and start to focus on some of the things that that are positive in our life too. So it sounds like your relationship with your brother is a really good one, and maybe you can continue to spend time with him.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like he's a great resource.
Yeah, I rely on him a lot.
All right, well, thanks again for coming in today, and I look forward to seeing you next week.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.